And hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Entropy Emporium. Thanks for coming to hang out this morning. Thank you for all the chaos and order points being redeemed, primarily the chaos points. I'm super excited about that. I had a couple of things in mind that I was like, I don't know how we're going to set this up, and I don't have to set it up anymore. I just get to do it. So thank you so much for that. Couple of channel things before we get started. First and foremost, yes, Mac, that is correct. Yes, please even it out. I would appreciate one more chaos point.
Okay,
Okay,
fine.
hydrate is fair. Everybody hydrate. We do
Hydrate,
need to take a deep
finale
breath.
hydrate.
Um, a couple of channel things before we officially get started. First and foremost, we are for now and the foreseeable future raising money. Oh, hey, thanks, JT. Raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We know why this is important work. They are doing really important work on the ground in Gaza. Pay attention to the world around you. There's a lot going on, so take care of yourselves, but also do not check out. Return to the fight. We need everybody to come together. Community is what's going to save us. So come together as you can, whether that be donating to resources, whether that be continuing to advocate for people, whether that be keeping yourself informed, whatever that looks like. The other thing is that we do have a Discord server. If you would like to come hang out with us, yell about your characters, understand why we do what we do, we won't explain it to you, but you can try to understand it in our Discord server. It's a good time. It's just a lot of fun people just caring about each other and shouting, honestly. That's pretty much all that we do. The final thing for this is that this is thank you, Mac. I appreciate you. This is technically a horror game, so if at any time things get uncomfortable for you, know that my players and I have our safety tools on our side, but we want you to take care of yourself. So feel free to take a step back. We've got plenty of content on Entropy Emporium. I'll be going over everything that we have planned at the end of the stream. Um, but know that you can always come back and join us for a different stream if this is not your cup of tea. That's totally fine. Now, without further ado, we make it to the end. This is the last episode of our Invisible Sun campaign, Blooming in the Rot. It has been an absolutely wild time. I adore this cast. I am not done with you all yet. This is going to continue to be absolute chaos. We're starting out, obviously, with Hazel just desperately trying to drink some Dr. Pepper. Let her drink, Knox. Just let her have a sip. It's all that she wants.
Just one sippy.
Just one little sip. She deserves it. She's such a good girl. Um, but yes, this is the final episode of Blooming in the Rot. So we are going to kick it off. I'm going to have my players go around and introduce themselves. Knox, we are going to start with you, but you have a second. So go ahead and take a sip of Dr. Pepper. I always do that to her. Um, Go ahead and give us your name, who you're playing, and your character sentence. That's going to be the thing that includes your forte, your background, all of that fun stuff. So Knox, we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Nox, and today I'm playing Bellamy. Her name is totally Bellamy. It's Bellamy. It's not. We'll probably find out by the end of the. Can you not? Sorry, my cat is chasing me from my beverages. Um, and she is a fuck.
Character sentence.
Yeah, I'm not on logged in on my Discord because this is not my computer, so I have to go to their chat. So how are you all doing today as I stalk? Can you not, you little shit? Oh my god. You are a menace to society, but mostly of me. She is a apostate who eats knowledge. Stoic. Stoic. Oh my god. She is a stoic apostate who eats knowledge, and this is Hazel, and she will be terrorizing me for the rest of the stream. Do not drink my Dr. Pepper, god damn it. Okay, back to you in the studio, Kian.
Thank you kindly. We will send it over to JT.
Hello, hello. I'm JT. My pronouns are they, them, and I will be playing Stone Faust. They are a connected stoic of the Order of the Weavers who strikes deals.
And over to Ava.
Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your Madam Ava here. I play Isra Nimmat, the Emmerich empath of the Order of Goetica, who plumbs the depths of sleep, and we both use she, her pronouns.
And last but not least, JD.
Hey, I'm JD, pronouns he, they. I'm playing Alistair, pronouns they, them, and they are an itinerant empath apostate who hosts a legion.
And of course, my name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. I am the storyteller for this game, so I get to play everybody that my players do not. which today includes a lot of things that want to kill them. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm really excited about it. Normally, I start these sessions with a little story, a little peek into what the Pale is. But all that I have to say to my players today is, in the end, all that remains is dust. So let's get started. Last we left off, there were two well, before we even get to that, last we left off, you all were in the Pale. You made it to the Pale. You found Carter. You are succeeding as best as you can. You came across the Dollmaker's Graveyard, which is just a wretched place to be, and successfully avoided it. And you also avoided what seemed like, as described earlier, an anglerfish lady. Who was trying to trap you into something. We won't know what exactly that was, since you successfully prevented combat there as well. You had just climbed out of this cavernous space that this anglerfish lady had created when two things happened. One, Stellan, you heard in your mind that all of the games can be done, all of these tricks, all of these trials and tribulations can end if you just bring Bellamy to me. And at the same time that that was happening, Alistair, I almost called you Faust, Alistair, which would not have been totally off for some reason. The vibes are right. Alistair, you heard in your mind, I told you that we would find you, and something grab onto your ankle. So we'll start with Stellan. Stellan, what are you doing in this moment where you hear this strange communication coming through?
Stellan. It's a tough one. Because it would save us a lot of trouble, wouldn't it?
It certainly seems it would.
But I don't know what she wants to do with Bellamy, which is less good. I think they will just. I'm assuming it's a mental response. I can't allow harm to come to one of my wards. We can talk this out, I'm sure.
Sorry, I can't spell. You have, by responding, opened up this channel of communication. You've opened yourself up to something, and you can feel it in your bones. It feels like something is latching onto every bone in your body and is starting to pull you in a direction. And you hear back, I don't make a habit of making deals with mortals. Will you bring her to me or not?
I am no mere mortal, you will find. As I said, there is a deal to be struck here. If you want it or not, that's up to you. Either way, I'll see you in a bit.
Perhaps the Pale has not punished you enough then, and you feel that connection wither away. Your bones feel like they belong to you once again. Give me 1 second. I need to do something on the back end. If I know how to do it. I don't know what I'm doing today.
You're certainly doing your best.
I am.
You're scaring the shit out of me. That's what you're doing.
Good. I'm trying really hard today, guys.
I'm scared. I'm about to call my mom to pick me up, and I live across the country from her.
I'm trying to go home. Mom, can you come pick me up?
Mom, Kian's being scary in the stream
Mom,
again.
they're being mean to me.
Everything's going to be fine. I believe in us.
I believe in Isra and Bellamy because you both have the safety on. I do not believe in Alistair and Stellan
What do you mean?
because I think they will make choices, both of them.
Stellan is the most rational person in this group.
Here's the thing about Bellamy: you can't kill it till Ray dead inside.
Egg.
Fair
And
point.
like I said, Isra has done nothing wrong, so nothing bad will happen to Isra. She's been great so far.
You feel that connection cut. You return to yourself. Your body feels like it belongs to you. You did get the general sense that that was kind of pulling you. Do I know my cardinal directions? Northeast. It was kind of starting to tug in that general direction. Not necessarily exactly the direction that you all are headed right in this moment. But you can store that in your pocket for later. Alistair, you hear this spoken in a very familiar voice. A voice you have heard since returning to the world of the Indigo Sun. And you feel something grab your ankle. And it doesn't start to pull you back, it starts to pull you down into the earth itself. What do you do?
Alistair automatically says out loud, whether it needs to be said out loud or internally, my body doesn't belong to you anymore. And they're going to try to struggle to break free.
All right. I need you to go ahead and make me a physicality roll. We're going to call this a DC. No, a CR. It's a challenge rating in this game. A CR 6.
CR6. Okay.
And for the
I-
general chat, just a reminder, this game uses D10s, 10s being a 0. That is the worst possible thing that you can roll. Other than that, I have bastardized the system a lot, so don't go read too closely into Invisible Sun and expect to find those rules here, because I have done a lot of playing around with things. Apologies. Continue, JD.
I'd like spend a bene to reduce that by 1.
Okay, so that's going to drop it to a 5. And you do
It's
have 5
probably a
re-rolls in
mistake.
the chat, so
I'll keep that in mind. That is exactly a 6.
wonderful. You are able to wrench your ankle free. You stumble forward a couple of steps, and you turn back, and you see this clawed, long, spindly hand disappear slowly into the earth. And it takes a second, because it almost seemed shadow and wispy-like, so it takes a second to kind of process what exactly you saw. Almost like the after image, whenever something disappears from your sight and you can still see it for a moment. That's almost what you felt like you were seeing as that hand disappeared into the earth. Do you do anything?
They continue facing where that hand disappeared and are just kind of backing towards the others and say, I think we should run.
That sounds very valid and accurate. I suppose we should do that.
Yep.
Carter, are you still up to running?
I'll do my best to keep up.
All right, hustle. The bustles.
Hustle the bustles. You all start to run. Stellan, are you running with the group?
Stellan is moving as quickly as they can. They do use a cane for mobility on
was gonna
top of
say, I don't-
the other reasons they have the cane.
I don't know if Stellan has ever run before. I don't know if Stellan would run
Yeah.
had they had the means to.
Brisk, businessly walk.
Fair. You all start to run or briskly move as this hand disappears, and Alistair gives you all a heads up that it is time to move with haste. I am going to use a chaos point, my first of 4. I don't think it was ever balanced out. I don't know that Matt gave me another one. So I
No,
think I only-
Mac did. Mac
Oh,
did.
cool. Okay, first to 5
Yep.
then.
Thanks.
Delightful. I'm going to use my first chaos point. You all are running. If you've ever been somewhere like a laser tag room. If you've ever been in an already quasi-dark space in a movie theater, and all of a sudden the power goes out, and you can hear the power winding down, and everything goes dark. That's kind of what happens, which is interesting because there was light outside. You are not in an electrical space, but all of a sudden the power has gone out, and you all can feel and hear your hearts beating very loudly in your ears. And the other thing you can hear is heavy breathing somewhere in the dark. Very slow, very measured. I need everybody to roll me a movement. There is no challenge rating. This is simply to see who gets caught.
That's a 1.
Okay.
Hey, that's a 2.
Okay.
Where's my 10? Oh, there it is.
That is a 6.
Okay.
That's a 10.
Okay. In a sweeping motion, you see, or rather you don't, you feel what it feels like a 2x4 catching you in the gut as something slings you off into different directions. You all kind of spiral out. You are all separated from each other. Nobody rolled the same number, which is what I was looking for to see if anybody would end up in the same spot. You all are separate from each other. All of you can see in the very center of this dark space, not that you know that, but we as players do, in the center of this dark space, a small dot of light. And then you see a mouth opening up wide and swallowing it up. We as players have met this creature before in one of our earlier readings. One of the intros to one of the sessions. This is the Light Eater. This is a creature that follows the light throughout the pale and swallows it up. We will start with Isra. You find yourself in the dark, floundering a bit, as anybody would. You were just in a run, and all of a sudden you can't see any of your companions or where you were headed. And you are pushed off to one side. It doesn't seem like anybody is around you. What do you do?
Hmm. I think I think right now she's trying to at least kind of ground herself a little bit. She can't like she's able to do summons on the move. She's been able to do that before, but she prefers being stabilized. So I guess get her footing and see if maybe she can try to find some type of lighting situation. Shrug.
Are you doing anything within yourself or providing anything to try to cast this light, or are you looking around? Because I'll tell you, looking around, there's no light that you can see.
Okay. I think she's gonna see try to summon aid.
Okay.
One of the summoning types. Um Obviously she doesn't know about the light situation. And trying to avoid lighting, but I think she's gonna try to request aid in the form of trying to be able to see.
Ooh, I like it. What level are you summoning? What level creature are you summoning, and are you trying to summon an angel or a demon? Or is a different kind of entity, but typically you followed the path of angels and demons.
Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna go demon again with this. I feel just because of the nature of where we are, I feel like they may be a bit more willing to interact on this level.
Okay. And what level?
Let us do. It doesn't have to be too big, so I think maybe a level 2.
Okay, so it's going to cost 2 sorcery points. Um, just so that you know, because you would have this knowledge as a player and as a character. If you try to use persuasion to persuade this creature, it's going to add +2 to the difficulty, so that would make it a difficulty 4 instead of a difficulty 2. Proceed if you would like to with persuasion, but just so that you're aware. Typically, bribes and threats tend to work a little bit, or I'm sorry, bribes tend to work a little bit better with demons, less so threats. What does the summoning look like? How do you begin to cast this? Are you still on the move, or are you said you're stopping to get your feet under you? Is that correct?
Yeah, she's going to stop for a moment.
Okay.
I think she is doing a motion where she is kind of flicking her thumb in her hand, like trying to like get a lighter to start.
Okay.
And she's just kind of doing that with both hands as she is muttering to herself, I need to be able to see. I need to be able to see where I'm going. I worry that there's something out there. Please, let us strike a bargain.
Go ahead and roll. This is a CR2.
Not you. You gave me a 10. 7.
You see within your hand sparks, despite not having anything there. And out of these sparks, they slowly start to form together and weave together. And they summon what looks like almost just a little flame that you could hold in the palm of your hand. No eyes, no mouth, but no heat. You can't feel any warmth coming off of this. But this little flame, you can hear it communicating with you somehow, some way. What kind of bargain do you want to make?
Allow me to be able to see in this darkness, and I will provide kindling. My hair is long enough. I hope some of that will suffice.
This is my favorite thing in the world because I was picturing Calcifer for this, and now I'm just picturing Calcifer even more. Thank you for that. You feel your hair starting to move forward. There's nothing that seems to be pulling it, but you feel part of your hair starting to move forward and merge with this demon, and the ends of your hair do catch fire, and it starts to burn up. You get the sense that you have to choose when this stops, however much you're willing to sacrifice.
I need to look at Issa's character art again. Her hair is like mid back, so I think maybe Avis does not know distance. 3 inches? I think 3
Okay.
inches should be fine.
That's a solid amount of hair.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll grow back.
this is true. You sort of push away when it has reached its fill, what you think it is, or as much as you are willing to sacrifice for this. And the demon kind of sits in the palms of your hand for a second, begins to dance around your hands, kind of swirling itself around, dances up your arms and up to your eyes, and flashes over your eyes. You can see, I would say, probably about 30 feet into this darkness. So it gives you a decent range of distance, enough to be able to get space. I would say within 30 feet, you can see both Bellamy and Alistair. You do not see Stellan. Keegan doesn't know distance. God, I got dragged one time. This is an aside. I got dragged one time for only knowing how to measure things in yards because I watch a lot of football because I'm in Texas. It's really disrespectful, but it's also very accurate. So I'm going to say it gives you about 15 yards because that makes more sense in my brain. I don't even know if that's 30 feet, but 15 yards makes more sense in my brain. I would say within that distance, you do see the edges of something that is moving that is darker than the darkness around you. It seems to be kind of in black and white almost, the vision that you've acquired, so it's hard to get any real sense of like shape. The size is massive. This is a huge entity, whatever this is, but you do see it kind of moving in the distance. Before you take any action based on what you can see, we're going to move over to Bellamy. Bellamy, you have been flung off in a direction separate from all of your peers in the dark. You are no longer able to see where you are headed. What are you doing?
Can I kind of see Isra's flame thing going on?
You cannot.
Okay, God. Oh, I have two options. One of them's very stupid. A Bellamy. It's the finale. Okay, so calling back to one of the earliest stupid things Bellamy did when she set fire to a library. Um,
We do
Bellamy, Bellamy is going to like try to like shoot like a thing of flame. I'm trying to think if it should go up or like forward to like try to see if she can signal to the others where she is.
Okay. Which direction are you shooting it? Because two very different things will happen depending on what you pick.
I don't know if I want to pick this now because you're scaring me.
It's entirely your
I might want to
choice.
do the other thing. Oh, okay, wait. Let me talk out my options. Hold on. Okay, so there's that, or probably the safest thing is to send Candace, who can't see because she's a cane
This
and
is
she
true.
gets around off of vibes, to see if she could get Candace to stretch out and walk out, like to hold Bellamy with like one tendril because her tendrils can grow, her yarn tendrils, and see if she could just like do a sweep around the area and see if she could catch anybody.
A super secret third thing will happen if you try to do that. It just depends on what you want to do.
Are you gonna take my cane away?
I
That
would
would hurt
never.
my.
I would
Okay. Then in that case, yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Because your response to the first thing scared me.
never. You ask Candace to stretch out tendrils, reaching out. So clarify this picture for me. Are you standing still and is Candace standing still? Are you like holding onto one of the tendrils and moving out into the distance with it while Candace stands still? What is
Yeah, like moving very like when people have the beep 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 beep. What?
Yes. Metal detector?
Yes, like that.
Okay.
Candace is like a metal detector. Like she's stretching out as far from Bellamy as she can, and stretching out her other one as far as she can to just see if she like feels anybody because she knows what the others feel like. So
Okay.
Bellamy's doing like a sweep.
Roll me. We're going to call this perception.
Okay.
We're going to call it a CR7 because you are doing this blindly in the dark and there is something else in the dark with you.
Can I have stuff to.
You could spend some bene. You can spend up to 3 bene.
I'm gonna spend 3.
Okay. That drops it to a 4. You have hidden knowledge if you would like to spend that as well.
I would like to spend that.
What is your hidden knowledge that will help you in this situation?
I've been researching the Pale.
You
I
have.
know about the scary shit that's down here. Not all
This
of
is
it,
true.
but I know about a lot of scary shit.
This is true. You are probably aware of something that eats the light in this place. You don't know
Oh
the
yeah,
details.
I would know that. That means that it would have been really dumb for me to do the fire thing. Okay, then yeah, I know to not do fire.
Okay. I'll go ahead and let you have that hidden knowledge, so that drops it to a CR3.
God, I better get this. I'll be sad. I got it. I got a 3.
We'll take it. Meets it, beats it. You begin to slowly reach out, slowly start this process of kind of grasping in the dark, reaching into the darkness in front of you, hoping that you are going to connect with one of your companions and not whatever this other thing is that you can still hear breathing. The breathing does seem to be getting closer to you. So you're using that to kind of guide you. As it gets closer, you're moving in the opposite direction of where you think it is. it takes a second, then you start to realize that the breathing is kind of all around you, and it feels very awful. Not quite. I mean, this thing is a mouth breather, so it feels moist. It feels wet and damp and hot. But because you reached this CR, because you met the CR, you do sort of fumble in the dark and eventually come across one of your companions. I need you to roll a d4 for me.
Oh, shit,
Actually, no, roll a d6.
Okay, those I have. Those
Yes.
I have. Yeah. 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You are reaching out into the dark, kind of grasping, and you eventually come across Alistair. Alistair, you're either standing or running. Are you standing still? Did you continue to move?
I think given the darkness, Alistair, and being separated, Alistair did stop because they weren't going to keep moving without the rest of their companions.
Okay. You stand still, or you are standing still, and you feel something reach out and brush against your back. What do you do?
Smack it away and jump to the side.
Bellamy, I need you to roll a movement roll to try and avoid getting pushed to the ground. We're just going to call this a CR2.
Okay. 5.
Perfect. You don't get pushed to the ground, but you feel Alistair kind of smack your hand away. Neither of
Stop that.
you are right up against each other. Neither of you can see each other.
Can we hear each other if we
You
talk?
can hear each other. You could, if you were to reach out, you would physically be able to feel each other, but neither of you can see each other in this space.
Okay. Will you stop that? It's me.
Bellamy?
Yes. Candace found you.
Tell me something only Bellamy would know.
One time you woke up in the middle of like one of my 7-day non-sleeping research things, and I like started crying about raccoons.
Thank God you are, Bellamy.
I didn't know what to say. Yeah, okay. So, found you. Yay. I can't see you. Probably not going
I-
to be able to see you.
Yeah, should we hold hands?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, reaches for Alistair's hand. Yeah,
Takes a little
no.
bit of fumbling, but you are able to find it.
I feel like Candace just after a while was like, oh my god, and like raps to get their hands together.
Do you know where the others are?
No, I just know my first idea was to cast a fireball of some sorts, and then I remembered that there's a thing in the pail that eats light.
There's a thing in the pail that does what?
I mean, it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Like, evolutionarily speaking, of course, there's going to be, like, when all the kind of creatures that come up in the pail, of course, it makes sense that something would eat light. That feels like it's scary, but not like the scariest thing that we can come across.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't send a fireball into the darkness.
Yeah, see, sometimes I think it's that sleep that I got. Sometimes I can actually like think before I do stuff. Like if I had slept, I probably wouldn't have set the library on fire. It's amazing.
We've learned something very important, but we should probably find Isra and Stellan.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure Stellan will be fine. We should probably find Isra.
Yeah, well, Eastra's got like, I don't know. Isra feels like she can take care of herself. Stellan, nah, nothing wants to touch Stellan. We're good. Let's go find Isra first, and then we'll go find Stellan.
Alistair, I need you to make a movement roll. This is going to be a CR8. You know what, Bellamy, I'm going to have you make one as well. CR8.
It's a
Oh, you
3.
shouldn't have.
Okay.
Okay, that's an 8.
Wonderful. Alistair, you feel something catch in your shoulder. Something very sharp. I need you to take 1 point of damage as something has been thrown at you in the dark, and you glance over and it looks again very wispy. It disappears very, very quickly. But you do take 1 point of damage. So that's going to be 1 injury for you. Just as a reminder for this game, up to 3. Wait, I need to look at a different character sheet because y'all don't have the same character sheets as my little buddies. 3 injuries equals 1 wound. 3 injuries equals 1 anguish, depending on if it's a physical or a mental damage. 2 wounds and you're dead. I'm sorry, 3 wounds. 2 wounds. Once you get that 3rd wound, you are dead. So tread very carefully. As I said, there's a lot of things here that want to kill you.
Don't kill my friends. Do you know how hard it is to make those?
It is very challenging to acquire new ones. On the note of Stellan, let's jump over really quick. Stellan, what are you doing as you are fumbling in the dark? Have you continued to move after you've been sort of swept away from the rest of the group?
I think Stellan pauses for a moment and just listens. No movement, no sound. I don't even think they give the mote of light a second glance.
You, first of all, hear that heavy breathing. It comes through gnarled teeth, so it feels chopped up as the exhales are happening. Very, very faintly, I would say you can hear what sounds like 2 people talking. It sounds muffled, so you can't quite make it out because it's very distant, but you do hear 2 distinct voices.
Okay. Isra would never talk that loud in a situation like this. depending on what I could estimate their rough distance to be. This thing probably knows where we are, so it doesn't matter if I make too much sound. Stellan is going to whistle themselves a spell.
Okay.
They are going to. I'm going to use Infinity, Thunder, and I think Heart. I'm taking movement from Infinity, Sound from Thunder, and Secrets from Heart in an
Okay.
attempt to sort of. The easiest way to put this is echolocation. Echo. Stellan is trying to see with the sound the shape
Okay.
of the battlefield at the moment.
Okay. We bastardized this the way that you do spells. Do you remember how we do spells? I can't remember if I have you roll
So
sorcery or because you don't have any sort of list. Is that
it's
correct?
sorcery for weavers.
Okay.
Um, and it's the amount that I spend. Since it's a sound based spell, I spend 1 less.
What
and then
level are
that-
you casting this at?
I think whatever the minimum level is that they can get this sort of effect out of. I don't quite know what the effect level for something like this would be.
I would say that the higher that level, the more you'll be able to see.
Okay.
And I would say the max that you would have to do is probably, given your distance from the others, probably a level 4. So that would be 3 sorcery for you.
Yeah.
But you can spend
Okay.
as low as a level 1, and I'll still give you something for that, and you won't have to spend any sorcery.
I think we'll go 3. Let me just double check this other, because I've picked up a lot of stuff to make this easy for me. Okay, yeah. Cool. I will spend 2 sorcery to cast it at a level 3.
Okay. Roll me. I'm gonna have you roll perception for this, just to see how much of the lay of the land you can get. You'll be able to scan the whole thing, but this will decide something very key.
Yeah.
So roll me perception. This is going to be a CR 6.
I will go ahead and spend 1 Bene from my perception, and then since this is the final episode, I will spend a hidden knowledge.
Okay. What's your hidden knowledge?
I think Stellan has probably done this once or twice before, just because of how much they value sound. So,
Okay.
getting the shape of things, I think they're probably a little more keen on it.
Okay. That brings it down to a CR4.
Beautiful. That is a 5.
You see that Alistair and Bellamy are directly across from you. You can see that they're together. I'm picturing this kind of like the way that Toph earthbends and can sense
Yes.
things. So it's kind of what I'm picturing. So it bounces back that you can see where Alistair and Bellamy are. They're directly across from you. I'd say they're probably about 30 yards away from you. You can see that Isra is a little bit off to your left, probably about 20 yards from you. And in between you and Bellamy and Alistair is a very, very large creature. Large enough that you cannot... the sound doesn't bounce back. The sound can't reach the height of this creature. So it bounces back that this is a massive creature, but you can't quite tell how big. But you can tell that in order to get directly to Alistair and Bellamy, you would have to go through this creature to get there. You could get to
Gross.
Isra by circumventing that creature. Did you say gross?
Maybe.
What do you do?
Tough. Creature this big? I think Stellan does slowly make their way to Isra. Just as a start.
Okay. How quickly are you moving?
It's like a casual pace, as calm as they can make it appear.
Okay. I need... This is interesting. You use sound for this. You see, as you're starting to move, this creature's head, it doesn't move its body, but its head snaps around over to you. And you can see that there is some sort of halo that has been pushed into where its eyes would be, sort of all the way through half of its head. If this thing were an angel, it did not choose to be one. And if it were a demon, it was made into one. But whatever this is not a naturally occurring creature. You see it lift one gangly arm and start to reach out toward you. It moves oddly slow as it does, but it is reaching toward you. What do you try to do?
Asking me all the hard ones.
You took a really interesting course of action for this particular creature. And I will say, Isra, you can start to see this happening. This is all within your line of vision. You see the edges of the creature, but you do see the arm reaching out. You do see that it's reaching in a direction where you can faintly see there's somebody else there.
It's either Carter or Stellan, unless there's another unfortunate person here. Carter's with us still. Nox, did you forget that Carter's with us?
Yes!
Aw. We
I was
just
like-
forget about
I'm
Carter
more
left and
afraid
right.
that we've lost Carter. That's more my fear.
I was like, oh fuck, Carter still has to deal with our bullshit. I hope he gets out of this contract. Like, I feel like he's done.
I hope he gets out of the bail.
That's
Let's
true.
go with that
He might
first.
actually want to just stay with Stellan now after that.
I have a stupid idea.
It's the finale. Go with the stupid idea.
All right, hold on. Let me go figure out how to justify this. Okay. I think I could spin that. I'm sorry, this is just. This is a beast and a half.
Yeah, literally.
I think slow as this thing's moving. Stella wants to pull that halo out, just yank it out. That thing's in its skull. It's probably doing something. I think the aggregates I have to use here are heart, hate, and thunder.
Okay.
Strength from heart, damage from hate, and movement from thunder.
Okay. What are you trying to do?
Remove the halo.
How are you trying to do that?
I think just a pull, like some sort of like a whip of some kind, just wrap around and yank.
So before you spend anything, I will tell you that this would be easier if you weaken this thing first. This is going to be incredibly challenging.
Okay.
You are welcome to give it a shot, but it will probably deplete any of your resources.
I'm already depleted.
While you're thinking about that, I want to jump back to Isra. Since Isra, you're able to see what is happening. Is there anything that you want to do?
How close is this to Bellamy and Alistair?
The creature is probably about 15 yards away from them, but it's not looking in their direction.
Okay. I think she's going to go to them first and give them the rundown as to what's happening.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a movement or physicality roll. This is to try and be stealthy about it.
Got it.
We're gonna call this a CR. We'll call it a CR5 because this thing is pretty distracted right now by the noise that Stellan made.
Let's go movement. She's technically better at that.
Okay. Do you want to spend any Bene?
No, because I feel like that may be needed for something else later.
I think you're making a very good call.
It's a 5. Okay. 9.
Wonderful. You are able to slink past this thing. Its eyes are focused still over on Stellan. Its arm is still reaching in that general direction. How close do you get to this thing? Or do you give it a wide berth?
Wide berth right now.
Okay. You slink around it. You're able to make your way over to Alistair and Bellamy. What do you do?
First off, do not make a noise. This is Isra. To prove I'm Isra, because I feel like that'd probably be important. She'll lean over to Bellamy and she'll just whisper, "You gave me your true name. Insert name here. We're not giving that to the audience right now." And then she'll lean over to Alistair. "I found a piece of your childhood in the dream."
All right, it's Isra.
Okay, real quick, there's a thing in the darkness, and I think it's stalking Stellan. It's about 15 yards if you can feel my hands in that direction.
You two would note that Isra walked up, immediately was like there was no groping in the darkness. Immediately was able to put hands on your shoulders, leaned in, knew exactly the distance. You can tell that she has some sort of vision right now.
How badly, like, how much danger is Stellan in right now? Because, like, how close? Because I think I know what this is.
They look like they're pondering as to what to do.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I don't think it's great. I don't think it's great.
Kian, would Bellamy know, like, a big, like, stab here, or like weaknesses, or do not rip the halo out of its face?
We're going Pathfinder rules. What are the weaknesses? What are the damage resistances? What type is this?
Let me rip its halo out. Come on. Think of how sick that's gonna be.
I think
That's
it'll
gonna
be
be cool.
fun.
I'm just trying to think
let's
of-
let Stellan have a goofy time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how to do it without Stellan dying. Because I still need you to get me to my
Stellan
sibling,
never gets
then
to
you can
show
die.
off.
Roll me intellect. We'll call this a CR4.
Okay. And that's a 8.
You know that this entity, its entire body is hidden within some kind of a cloak, so it's very hard to know. Nobody really knows what exactly its body looks like. The best plan of action is just to attack it. You know that it guards the halo fiercely. Nobody has ever been able to get hands on it, so you do not know what will happen if that halo is removed.
Throw hands to get hands on the halo.
Okay.
It's a good way to go about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if anybody can do anything that hasn't been done before, it's Stellan.
So we should just let them try this.
Oh no, I think there's a good chance they're gonna get attacked while doing it. I'm just saying maybe as Stellan's doing their thing, we like go in from behind.
I think that sounds as wise as we can right now.
Yeah, like give support, but also let them cook.
Yeah.
So, Stellan, how are you proceeding right now?
Can I see that Isra has made her way over to the two yahoos?
You can tell that
I'm too ace for this shit.
you can tell. I would say if you're still moving, it's a little bit harder to keep track of things just because of the way the echolocation is working. You can tell that Isra is no longer where she was standing and she has moved farther away from you. So I think Stellan would probably assume that she's headed in that direction,
Yeah.
but as you're
I know-
moving, it's a little hard to tell if she's made it there.
How much longer do I have for this arm? What rate does it appear to be moving towards me?
Roll me intellect, and we're gonna call it a CR. How many fights has Stellan been in? Physical fights, not just arguments.
Physical fights.
Yeah.
It is a non-zero number. It is below 100.
That's a wide range.
That is a
That
really
is
wide
such a
range.
range.
That's a very wide
Okay,
range.
all right. I'll say anywhere from 15 to 40, probably.
We're gonna call this a CR6.
Okay.
There's a very
not gonna-
particular piece of knowledge that actually we're gonna call it a CR7 because you've never faced an entity like this before.
Also curious how many of those Stellan won.
Well, they're still standing, aren't they?
And that's a type of win.
What is this? Perception or intelligence? you said?
Intellect.
Okay. Well, I'm fresh out of that. I spent all of it to get here, so. That's a 7 on the die.
All right, meets it, beats it. You know that this thing
Stressing
is
me out
moving
over here.
slowly. Anything that moves this slow has something that can attack you very quickly. It seems like this thing is simply trying to aim. So you do not have much time.
Okay. Stellan loves this, but I think it's time to trust my teammates and just go for it.
Okay.
Yay, trust.
Look at this character
Yay.
growth.
It is I'd like to be clear. This is not actual trust. This is I
It's
have to
gritting
hope that I'm
teeth.
not the only one who has a plan.
It's through gritted teeth.
And
It-
I am gonna cast that spell
Okay.
to start yanking on this thing.
Okay. You have 2 sorcery points left.
Yes, I do.
This is going to be I will say, because I want to give you all the information because I don't want you to feel like I'm backing you into a corner. It will cost you both sorcery points simply to latch onto the halo, but that will not immediately pull it out. You will have to find a way to do that.
I think pulling it out is, while the ideal goal, not the main goal.
Okay.
Like, it would be cool if this part happened, but we need to grab the thing that is part of its face. Here's a very grabbable handle on a creature's face. I'd be remiss if I didn't grab it.
You're not wrong. This will cost you your last 2 sorcery points.
Yeah.
I need you to roll me an accuracy roll. We're going to call this a CR. It's not moving, but it's very far away, just given the height and the distance of the creature. I know a little bit about my Pythagorean theorem. So we are going to call this a CR 7. On accuracy, you can spend up to 3 bene, and you can spend hidden knowledge.
And hidden knowledge, that's 1 per roll.
Yes, you can only spend
Okay.
1.
CR7, I'll spend 2 accuracy, so I have 1 just in case.
Drops it to a 5.
And I think I'll just rock with a 5.
Okay, don't forget you still have 5 rerolls in the chat.
Well, I'll use 1.
Okay.
Because I don't want to roll that. As incredibly funny as it would be to me.
Oh, come on.
That is a 7, though.
Okay. You are able to cast the spell. Tell me what this looks like as you're latching onto the halo.
I think it's... Stellan pulls their violin. They whistled for the echolocation spell because that was, at least to them, a mighty trivial feat.
Mhm.
They pull out their violin for this one, and they play... This is going to be an interesting pull for some people. They play something similar to Ida's Requiem from the Owl House, one of my favorite violin pieces. And it is a lasso of darkness, because a creature that thrives in this sort of darkness, probably not phenomenal to use light or anything that it can see. A lasso of darkness, basically just from the violin to the creature, and then Stellan reaches out and grabs it.
You cast this spell, and it takes hold and latches around the halo. If you have any animals, if you've ever owned a pet, you know that when they make that horking sound, it's the worst sound in the world, particularly when it's in the dark and you can't see where they are. And that is the sound that this creature makes. It makes this awful gurgling sound from the back of its throat as you latch onto the halo. And then it starts to scream. And it screams very, very loudly. I need everybody to make this is going to be a dodge roll, which means that you get to spend out of, I think it's movement, but I gotta double check. Yes. You can spend out of your movement pool if you want to spend any bene. This is going to be a CR9.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll spend a bend.
I'll spend. Yeah.
I will spend but the one.
Can I also do hidden knowledge again?
If you feel like you have hidden knowledge to justify it, anybody can spend hidden knowledge at any time.
Hidden knowledge
It's
of
9.
this is
8.
gonna react badly. And nobody's lived to do this, so stay the fuck out of its way.
Uh,
I feel like it would work better for Isra if hidden knowledge if I can actually see this shit. But I'm
yeah,
not
I think
Isra.
that's a stretch on the hidden knowledge on this one.
I guess
mean-
I guess from that regard, the hidden knowledge is, can I make shot calls and be like, "Hey, dodge this way"?
Oh yeah, wait.
Because she
Uh,
can't see.
I would say that you can help. You can help, so
Mhm.
that will give a +1 to Bellamy's roll.
Awesome.
Isra, how many Bene did you spend?
Just one.
Okay.
That helped because I rolled a 7 and now it's an 8. Yeah.
8.
Wonderful. Isra and Isra and Stellan, you can see as this thing hunches over as you've grabbed the halo, and out of its back, these spikes of darkness come out and shoot in wild directions. And it almost seems as though it's in such pain or such discomfort or so focused on something else, and it's such a wild cast that somehow it misses everybody. Somehow, some way, you do not end up getting struck by these. Because I think everybody passed, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought so. I was trying to keep track of numbers.
We're in finale mode.
As it's making this awful retching sound out of its mouth, it coughs once, and a ball of light falls out and splashes onto the ground. And you can see as it lays at its feet, these wisps of light, wisps of smoke, of lighted smoke, start to spread out. And you can see the base of this creature, and it coughs once again, and another ball falls out, and it gets a little bit brighter. You have a little bit of light in this space. You can see where this creature is. Generally, you are able to tell where each other are, since both Stellan and Isra can see. And you can see... Isra, you can see that this creature is somehow tied to Stellan right now. You're not quite sure how. You can't really see that it's latched onto the halo and pulled forward, but you can see that it's hunched towards Stellan and something seems to be holding it down. What do y'all do?
Is it possible to, because the pail and everything's dead here, so I don't know if that will work. But maybe get like, like when a plant dies and it gets all hard and like brown, and like it's like kind of sharp and splintery. I was wondering if I can get some of those with like thorns to wrap around the creature a little bit and kind of just tighten. Like,
I will
to
say
just hurt it.
that yes, it's possible. It's probably going to take you 2 turns to be able to do that, just because
Okay.
of the size of this creature.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, that'll just be your only action for 2 turns.
Okay, works for me.
Perfect. Alistair, what are you doing?
So I'm gonna need you, Kian, to tell me if I can do this.
Okay.
But I know this is technically a non-combat ability, so if I am not using it to attack, I want to know if I can still do it, because I would like to use the Patter of Tiny Feet to
Okay.
summon a bunch of creatures as distractions. Not to attack, not to hold it still, just to put its attention on movement that is happening around it.
I think that's absolutely possible. What do these creatures look like that you summon?
So I don't know if there's actually any I summon. I think they are from the Pale. So I'm
Oh, that's
imagining that
right.
they are creatures that have been moving through the ground beneath our feet and are looking however a creature who has adapted to this environment would look in whatever
Exactly.
horrifying fashion that takes.
These creatures do not look like anything that anybody recognizes. And one thing that you notice, Alistair, just because you're tuned into them and you can kind of tell where these are coming from, most of them do not feel corporeal, as everything here in the Pale for the most part, aside from the group that is gathered here, is dead. Most of them do not feel corporeal, but you can see them start to come up between the cracked earth of the ground and immediately start to kind of scatter and run around itself. This creature, this giant, the Light Eater, that is still hunched over, seems to be kind of jerking back and forth as though it's trying to track something with all of the movement going around. I would say it's effectively distracted. Anything that is done against it, I would say adds a +1 to everybody's rolls. Isra, what are you doing?
Demon Shriek on the
Okay.
creature.
That is one of your spells, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
What does this look like?
It is an incorporeal demonic entity that is physically assaulting the being to cause 1 anguish and forcing them to lose the next turn.
Delightful.
And it is, the color is pale, so it probably also kind of looks like something that just crawled out of the pale.
Absolutely. It takes an anguish, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You are... How does this... What is... Do you want to describe the creature, or do you want me to?
You can go ahead and describe it. I described it the last time she used it, so you can do it this time.
This creature comes up from the darkness. Actually, can somebody say something really quick?
Something.
Capybara.
Wonderful. My headphones beeped at me. I thought that they just died. I was really stressed. This creature rises from the ground, again, not looking very corporeal. Its mouth opens, the jaw unhinges, and out of the jaw itself, the bottom jaw splits in two as these gnarled fanged teeth kind of start to protrude from all of the gums, and it lets out this awful shriek, and you can see the force of the shriek sort of reverberating through the air as it hits this creature from behind. Stellan, you gather that the assault is on. There is something going on. What are you doing? Okay.
I think we start the bull. I think we just start yanking. If this thing's distracted by me or something else, then there's no reason to let up at the moment.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me physicality. This is going to be a CR. This would be a CR 8, drop to a 7 because Alistair is distracting it. We'll say drop to a 6 because of the assault that your friends are putting on it.
Okay.
Your
that's
coworkers,
6.
your companions, your whatever insert word Stellan would use there.
My unfortunate compatriots. Whoa! I said 7.
Okay.
I like this time.
You feel it give a little bit. Something slides out. Isra, you can see that there is this heavy, black, viscous liquid starting to pull from the face of this creature, and it seems to be plopping onto the ground. Very heavy, very loud. Wherever it lands, the ground starts to sizzle and smoke. Something is happening. You still can't quite tell what Stellan is doing, but clearly whatever it is effective in making this creature hurt. I need everybody once again to roll a movement roll. We'll call this a CR 9, drop to an 8 because of Alistair's distractions.
Oh, baby, that's a 9.
I would like to use a reroll.
Okay.
9.
I'll update the chat. Can you?
8.
9.
Wonderful. There are all of these blackened spikes start to come out and pierce the ground around you, around your feet. You're seeing that as these are striking the ground is starting to sizzle there as well. There seems to be some sort of acidic quality to whatever is coming out of this creature now. I would say, Bellamy, at this point, this is your second turn, so you're able to kind of fully secure this creature, hold it into place with all of these spikes. Roll me a physicality roll. We're going to call this a CR 8, drop to a 7. This is to see if you do any damage or if you're just securing it.
Okay. That's a 9. Holy shit, this is a good dice.
Okay.
Hot dice.
We're gonna give that 1 injury to this creature. As these spikes start to sort of dig into its body. You can see, Isra, that, and Bellamy, you would be able to see this with those sort of wisps of light that are gathered around the ground from whatever it regurgitated. You can see that these spikes themselves are starting to sort of melt. So you don't know how long this is going to hold. But again, something acidic about what this creature is doing. Isra, Alistair. Actually, Alistair, I want to pause with you for a second. All of these creatures are scattered around and they're moving. You're kind of able to sense where these creatures are. They seem to be, if you're taking any steps, they seem to be avoiding your steps. Your companions are not so lucky. They're kind of crawling over their feet, kind of getting in the way a little bit. Everybody kind of stumbles, but they seem to be giving you enough space to be able to move around if you so choose. You hear externally, and I would say even that Bellamy and Isra can hear this as well. You hear externally, come on, you can do better than that. And this is a different voice. This is a voice that you still recognize, but it is not Duasis that is speaking to you. What do you do?
Whose voice is it, Kian? Whose voice is it?
It sounds strained. It sounds uncomfortable, but this sounds like Extar.
Extar.
I think if anything that throws Alistair's focus off a little bit more, because now they're tuning back into the possibility that the Legion is very nearby, given what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that leads them just to sound very exasperated and ask, what should I be doing better? It's working.
There is a laugh, and it sounds wet. It sounds like there's blood in the voice when it says, "We've always been with you, Alistair. It's about time that you use us."
I can't use you without letting you back inside.
That's the choice you can make. Do you want to get out of this or not?
Will I get out of this if I do that?
I can't make any promises, but things are a little bit different right now. If you were going to take us back, this might be your best chance to do it.
And in this moment, Alistair isn't completely panicked because honestly, Stellan and the others are keeping this situation more well in hand than we have any right to. And so it isn't panic that drives their action. It's how Extar sounds. And Alistair hesitates a moment and then says, I'm still determined to get us all out of here. If you want to help, then help.
Do you fully embrace letting the Legion back in, or do you try to keep some kind of a semblance of control?
I think in this moment, Alistair tries to keep a semblance of control because, again, they're not panicked. No one is on the verge of dying. They don't feel like they have to do this or else. This is a choice they're making. And so they're going to keep whatever control they can.
Stellan, you are pretty focused right now on that halo. but you sense with being able to see, and that circle that you're able to see seems to be diminishing a little bit. The spell is kind of running out of its time. You sense there are suddenly a lot more entities on this battlefield. You can't quite tell what they are because they almost seem like one mass. They're climbing over each other, they're clawing at each other, but you can get a sense that this is what's happening. Isra, you see this horde of demons from the red. You know what demons look like. You know that they are unwieldy, that they do not like to be managed, that they are chaotic, and they are there to destroy and destruct and do as much damage as possible in as short amount of time as possible. They take pleasure in causing pain, and they are moving with haste. Again, climbing over each other, clawing at each other's backs. There's blood everywhere. There's limbs that have been wrenched off of bodies as they are moving. They are so desperate to get to whatever it is that they are headed toward, which right now looks like Alistair, that they are willing to tear each other apart for it. Do you do anything, Isra?
I think it is relevant to note, Isra, Alistair seems to recognize this is something that is coming, and they do not look panicked or afraid.
I think you're still muted, Ava.
Oh, thank you. Isra is going to. We'll do her chalice of weal and woe.
Okay.
And she will offer the wine of weal, which is the restorative one, to heal a wound, and offer it to Alistair. Some liquid courage. I'm sure you technically don't need it, but it always helps.
Thank you, Isra.
Alistair, you can clear your wound from earlier, or your injury. Actually, yeah, you can clear your injury from earlier. This horde is moving towards you with haste, and you can hear them, you can sense them, Alistair, but you can't see them yet. They're not quite to those edges of light that have come out of this creature. But you can feel the ground shaking. At this point, Bellamy, you can tell that something very awful is coming, and it's coming very, very quickly. Alistair, you feel a hand kind of under your chin, kind of tilts your face up, and just says in Extar's voice, I knew you had it in you. And the horde is still coming, but it is Extar that puts his hand on your shoulder. And you can feel the Legion returning. And we're going to go to break there because we're at about an hour and a half in. I want to give a pause really quick. So sit tight, everybody. Hang out for a second. Pet your pets. Take your meds. Drink some water. Eat a food. Do all the fun things. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. And welcome back, everybody. Unfortunately, you can see that we are one player short, and as this is the finale, we want to make sure that everybody is good to game. So we are going to have to go ahead and call today's session for now. We will be back with the second half. We are going to wrap things up from where they stand, as far as particularly since we're in the middle of combat and we've got a couple of loose ends going on. Something is happening with the Legion. So we'll definitely be reconvening. But for now, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the planet, do what you can to be present for each other. Again, community is what's going to save us right now. So we are signing off for today, but we shall be back in the future. Keep an eye out on social medias, and we will let you know when this is going to next happen. I forgot. I'm supposed to do like a full closeout. Let me do a quick channel rundown. Tonight, God Killer at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p. No, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So sorry about that. Monday, Follow the Ashen Throne. Tuesdays, They Call Us Villains. Thursdays, God Complex. Friday, Weird Wilds War. So plenty of other stuff to tune into. So definitely come back, hang out tonight. We will be able to reconvene very, very soon. Have a good rest of your Saturday, everybody. We'll talk soon. Bye.